I'm joined by the founder, CEO of J Rich Productions, and content creator for UCO Football, dear friend of the podcast, Jonathan Richardson. Jonathan, thank you for taking time this evening to come on and talk to us. Could you start by telling the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate you having me, bro. I love what you've been doing. We've been knowing each other for a while now. So just first off, I want to say that. But yeah, J Rich Productions. I go by J Rich. So that includes sports. And that's why I've been working with the football team kind of since UCO football team since the spring ball. That's kind of when I started. But yeah, I love basketball too. All different type of sports within that. I also kind of have like a sub brand, and I call that J Rich Way Sports. My motto is kind of doing it the J Rich way. So that's kind of where I post a lot of my sports content too, and then that filters into J Rich Productions as well. So I just love photography, videography, telling a story. So that's kind of what I've been doing, man.
So what first got you interested in going down the path of videography and photography?
Man, that's a great question because I always tell people like high school, all that type of time, I never even wanted to pick up a camera. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really until I changed my major at UCO to professional media. I actually was a chemistry major. And I always like to say, man, I was playing myself, man. I don't know why I was doing chemistry. So, bro, finna make me laugh, man. So, I changed to professional media because I used to be a former athlete in high school, like everybody else. Didn't play in college, but just loved the game, loved basketball, loved football. So one of my first classes was sports announcing, and so that kind of got me in the flow of talking about sports, talking about football, and then just even kind of not actually having a camera, but using the school's cameras, of course, and so that kind of got me into just using the camera, only on like for school projects because I didn't have my own, but it started with that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, I feel obligated to ask now if you were a chem major, what was the end goal with that? Like what got me through
You
what
don't
was
want to
the end
know,
goal with that
right?
chem degree? No, I want.
Because it's not gonna make sense, man. It's not gonna even make sense, bro. I did chemistry to become a dentist. Like I chose a science major just to try to like get into like dental school, pretty much. But I knew like what really told me I didn't want to do dentistry was I went to like a it was like a, it's called a it was called a simulator. So it was at OU dental school. They let a lot of different students actually like work on the fake teeth, and you got to ask the dental students questions and all that. And I realized, man, I'm not good with my hands like that. Like I'm over here like can't even get into the cavities of the fake tooth and stuff, just really looking clumsy out there. And it's got this man laughing. So after that, I was just like, man, that was part of it, and that was the path. But then, man, just really being in those labs a long time, I just really wasn't. It really wasn't for me. I didn't have that motivation for it anymore, and I just kind of told my family because I felt like they had a lot of influence of what I was doing before. It just took me a while to really kind of say, hey, this is what I love to do, and I'm gonna go with that. And so I think I was around like my sophomore year, finally made that transition to majoring in what I really wanted to do and took it from there.
Now you mentioned the cameras that we had. Now, for those that don't know, we both proud graduates of UCO Mass Comm majors. Now, did
Sure.
you? I'm sure you have. Did you ever get that tripod that had the one leg that wouldn't lock and would would
It's, it's,
slowly?
it's about a few of those, brother. It's about yeah, for sure, man. And you got to make it work, man. You got to make it work. Shout out to MassCon, man. Still love MassCon. I'm still a UCO employee, so I can't be too hard on the programs now.
Oh yeah, no, that should be funny because if you don't know at first, and then you're like, wait a minute, why is it leaning on like one side or one leg, and then you realize, yeah, that's just the way. We could just get new tripod.
I know. I'm like, I'm sure it's in the budget, right? You know?
Yeah, I mean that because it made it impossible to balance the. Yeah, it just no. Now, you mentioned that you did was it broadcast participation? What
it was sports announcing.
There was sports announcing. Now, I think what a lot of people don't realize, and I feel like I've said this before on here, like when you first start doing it or like talking in any kind of capacity in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, that's a nerve-wracking process. Like it's not as easy as you think. Like, oh, I'm gonna just talk like how I normally talk and hit record. It's a whole different like ball game. So, what was your experience like when you first dipped your toes into that?
Man, it was nerve-wracking because it's like what you don't understand is you're not doing it by yourself either, you know, and that's kind of part of it. You have to bounce off of the other person you're working with, you know. I think lucky and thank God, like the games that I would do, it would actually be exciting. I mean, I can't even I don't remember the player's name, but one of the UCO running backs, he ran for like over 200 yards in one of the games that we called, man. And I think it really just kind of made it exciting when the game is good. Because I know you understand when the game is bad, boy, you ready to get up out of there, boy.
You say that it was Missouri Southern 2021, bro. I'm sitting there like, hey, can we get the running clock? Like this just is not it. I mean, it's like, what am I supposed to talk about? Look, because you're sitting there and you're doing it from like okay, I have to talk about this.
Yeah,
I have nothing to talk about. Like, well, I mean, what? You know what I mean?
It's bad. It's tough, it gets ugly, man. It gets real ugly. So, but yeah, you know that's I was a person of just like I stayed up and like watch ESPN late at night or as a kid and all that. So like I'm hearing, you know, the little, I guess you could say puns and everything they're using and all that. I just tried to use some stuff like that, like just have fun with it, you know. And that was kind of also got to give credit to Nelson too. So you know, Professor David Nelson, got to give him credit because I felt like he just really let us be ourselves, you know. And so that's what made it a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Props Dr. Nelson does a lot of great work. Now I think you rotate with your partner each half, right? So like someone does play-by-play first half, color the second. Now, which is the hardest, play-by-play or color in your opinion?
For me, I would say oh my bad, I'm sorry. I would say color. Just because you kind of have to get in where you fit in with color, you know. Play by play is going, and then color, you gotta really have a good chemistry with whoever you're working with to know, hey, this is my time to add in, you know, what I need to say. And that was because of me for play by play, I can just keep going with that, you know, and just kind of paint the game in a way. But color's tough, bro. It might not be like the most like popular opinion, but for me, that's how I feel.
It's true. Yeah, no. Yeah, I definitely, because like I said, you do have to have, like you said, know when to get in, know when to fit in. That's kind of tough. And I think another thing two people don't realize is like there's a lot of time that goes into research. Like this isn't like I feel like I say it a lot. Like when I do my signing day, I tell everybody like, yeah, I just watched film. It took me 3 hours or so and so. That was a condensed version. That's not me watching every snap. Like there's a lot that goes into it. Like you have to know names. You have to know some key numbers off rip. Like it's almost like studying for an exam. Like, yeah, you have notes, but in the moment, I mean, you can't, you know what I mean? So like, what kind of, what from that perspective, did that shock you, the amount of like research and work that had to go into just being ready to call the game before even calling the game, like just having the knowledge to go out there and do a good job of commentating the game?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot that goes through it. Just because you gotta, I mean, I think we were preparing like a week before the game, and just had like a notebook full of he's averaging 7.5 yards a carry or something, like, it's the little things that it goes into it. And really, I mean, reading all those stats, you can kind of really see if this is a good team or are they a bad team. You really can just, it goes past just the win and loss column. You really can understand a team's chemistry and like just the character and how they've really been playing on both sides of the ball. It's a lot. It's really a lot. And I mean, just what you just kind of said, I feel like, man, you be doing your homework, man. And I know it don't take, it's not just like a few minutes or anything like that. It takes a lot of time. And it kind of goes with editing too. And when I'm doing like my content creation, it's a lot of extra time. It's a lot of replaying the same play, hearing the same song over, and a lot of people don't think about that type of thing. But when they just want the instant gratification of like, hey, you got this done, or, when I get that, but they don't see what really goes into it to make it into a one piece thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
The editing is its own separate beast. Like because I chop up the highlights, and then like I used to do the players of the week. So essentially, I'm watching the game like 4 times. I'm watching it, covering it, then I'm watching it as I'm getting the highlights, like pulling the highlights. Then I'm watching it as I'm putting the highlights together. So like at this point, I kind of know, I kind of know like the key plays of each game, but like it takes a lot of time. Like it's not as simple as like when I first started. I thought, oh, I just record, throw on some music here, do a fade in, fade out, and we're good. But like if you want quality, like that, like a 30-second clip can take you hours to edit, and that to me is crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't think people understand like a 30-second clip, if you do it extremely well, can take you hours. And so what when you first started editing, I guess what was the biggest challenge for
Mm. Ooh, that's huge. I think being able to ask questions to people who I know are editing, like I think even also like you watch something so much and you think it's good, and then like you look back and it's like, bro, that really wasn't what you thought it was. I think it's kind of getting through that, and just learning, because it's a lot that goes into it. I don't even think I know as much as I want to know. I feel there's a lot to learn with it, but just I think it's staying up long nights sometimes when you ready to go to sleep, but when you get in the creative mode, when you have something good that you're thinking on, you got to really build on that. And sometimes you can't sleep on that either. And that can be challenging sometimes when you losing sleep, just to make sure something looks the way you want it to look. One of the biggest projects I did, like, and this is kind of like after I graduated, because to be real with you, a lot of my content that I did in college was news related. Like, and how it is. You're gonna
you?
be on U Central News, and like to be real with you, I didn't do any sports stories, barely any at all. Because I wanted to show a lot of people that, hey, I'm not just a sports head. I can report news too. So I really dove into news like hard. So when I graduated and I got my own camera, finally got a laptop or something like that, that's when I really learned a whole lot more about the camera and about editing. So it really took some time betting on myself. Even when you post something, like not really worrying if anybody likes it or not. It's like just get it out there and just see what it does. And that goes through a lot of just mental things of getting through that wall. But um, it's a battle, and I'm looking to learn a lot more about editing. So it's not ever gonna stop for me.
And you brought up a really good point that I'm pretty sure, no matter how successful content creators are, when you put something out that you feel like is really good and you spend all this time and effort and energy on, and it like doesn't live up to what you might hope, like that, I don't think people understand how crushing that is. Like you think you nailed this, this is top tier work, and it's like right, and then you have some other things you're like, man, this isn't my best, it's average, and then it like goes through the roof. And I feel like there's times like that where,
Man,
at least for me, you kind of start to question like what is my why at that point? You know what I mean? Because it's like
yeah.
I could better understand if what you felt like was high quality was pulling numbers, but like for it to kind of go up and down, like it's really easy to get discouraged in that. And how do you kind of get past that mental hurdle of keep pushing, kind of regardless of if this video does better than this video?
It's really, you have to notice that you need to just be consistent. Like you don't like, if you're only worried about this one video, like you're not doing enough, And so that's where you kind of have to learn, and you have to look at it as like a body of work. After you're done, you can look back on it and like, dang, I've been kind of doing a lot. That's gonna be more rewarding to you than even one video going viral. Because then at that point, the question is gonna be, can you do it again? And if you get that body of work, like what I love seeing is if like I posted something a while ago and then people like it, you know what I mean? Or for, I'm sure you understand how that goes. It's like, that shows that people actually are looking at your page for a longer period of time. So it's about being consistent, man. Don't care about what nobody else got to think, bro, and just post it. And kind of what you're saying, like sometimes the BS be like the BS be the ones that be just going crazy. Like I know one of my homies or whatever, he posted like it was like, what's the best chips or something like that, and he had just copied it from someone. And this post got like 80,000 views or something. I'm just like, bro, it be the BS that just be going crazy. Like what? Like is Doritos better than Lay's? Like I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And and so you just really can't think about that, man, because your time gonna come. And if it's not, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, then like you just gotta think like, man, they sleeping on me. But it's gonna come, and just keep going with that.
And I think part of that is, at least for me, like every time I kind of question whether I should keep going, there's always that moment that like reassures me, right? Like when we had the pandemic, there was no season, I
Mm,
lost all kinds of traction. I'm like, it's probably not worth it. I don't know if anybody was really listening beforehand. Like we started off very hot in 2018 because the team was good, and then I felt like 2019 there was a dip, and I'm like, what's the point? But something told me when Coach Doral was hired, put out something. And I saw the response and I said, oh, okay, people are still interested. So, like, every time you get knocked down, there's always something that happens. And I think the most rewarding part, at least for me, is when you encounter people that are like, hey, are you smooth? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, hey, I appreciate what you do. I think, like, that above all, because you do realize, like, maybe it's not hundreds of thousands and millions of people, but there are people that truly enjoy your work and appreciate your work. And I think that's really key into pushing those days where you're like, is it worth it? And you remember, people that took time out of their day. Because like that's the thing I think we get lost in, right? We get lost in like subscribers and viewers and see it as a number. But like these are people, right? Like I'm a person, you're a person,
man,
we're big
yeah,
people. So like anybody to take time out of their life to watch any of my content, like that blows me away. So I think like perspective is a lot of it too, because even if it's like, oh, this episode only got like 40 views, that's still 40 people that took time to watch my stuff. You know what I mean? So I
yeah.
think you have to find ways to kind of like, I don't want to say like mentally adjust, but you know what I mean? I feel like you got to kind of find positives when you feel down, and I'm sure you have similar experiences.
Yeah, I do, man. That's a good way to put it. But even like, I think you got to be accountable too, because you can't just put out anything and expect it to do something. It's kind of like there's a reason why that video is not doing what you want it to do, or it's not getting the attention that you thought it would have got. Even though you're grateful for people who watched it, you have to know that, like, hey, you need to make some changes, or this is the way you should be posting this video or taking this picture or something like that. I've noticed that more. It's like it's a lot of like it can be a lot of excuses being made, but really you need to just dissect what you're doing and get better. I mean, it's not hard, It's always room to improve. So I like to look at it that way. And if I'm talking to somebody like, and I see they may be having that type of attitude, like, hey, you gotta really evaluate your own content and notice the changes that need to be made. So yeah.
And another thing that I feel like we can kind of combat, right, is quantity over quality. Like, obviously, as a content creator, you want to consistently get out content, but at the same time, you want to make sure the content is good. And so, like, for me,
Yes.
that's kind of a problem because it's like, when I was in college and I was working with the Thunder, I had a lot more time. So, yeah, I could kind of grind stuff out. But, like, I'm 9 to 5 now. So, like, that's it's not as easy
Hmm.
for me to grind it out, especially when like you're doing this kind of after hours and like trying to get guests and work with them. Like it's kind of tough, and you feel bad because you're like, dang, I should probably get out more. But then it's like, if I get out more, will it be up to what people expect? And so like I'm sure you face that, but like how do you kind of strike that balance of like you want to consistently put out, but like making sure what you put out is high quality.
I think it's kind of finding your type of content, like finding what you think is quality, and it may take a while for you to figure that out, but once you have figured that out, then you can't put out you can't just go record. I can't just go record a practice and then just put up that raw footage. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's not what you think is quality. So figuring it out and then not letting people really rush you, man. I think like I know what my timeline is. I got a 9 to 5 myself. I'm a father as well. I'll be on daddy duties. You know what I mean? My daughter comes first. So it's like I gotta prioritize my time, and I can't just sacrifice everything just to make sure that I'm being just putting out all this content. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have a balance, and it's something that you gotta figure out too. But once you know what your brand is, you can even get faster at doing that. Because you know what it is that you need to do. But it just takes that time to figure out what really is your good content.
Yeah, and I think that and like because for me, I'll and I should probably do a better job of using the community tab on the actual channel. But like I'll put out like a tweet like, "Hey, I know I've been gone for a while. This is why." So like people know I'm not just like in the back chilling, like I've legitimately been busy, right? Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's important because what people understand, right? When people have nine to
Yeah,
fives, they have
yeah,
families, so they understand. I think it's just like when you just ghost, I think then there's the problem. So I
man.
always try, if it's been like a couple of weeks, put out something. You know what I mean? Like people know that
Hmm.
you're still alive, you're still kicking. Like we've got stuff coming, but it's just going to take time.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man, for sure.
I'm gonna think. Okay, so now so now how do we go from you get your degree from UCO? How do we go from that to then starting J Rich Productions?
Ooh, okay. Man, it was. How do I get to that? Well, I definitely got to shout out other brands that I'm a part of. So I'm actually a part of the Slay and Chill Network too. I don't know if you've heard of the Slay and Chill Network, but we represent sports, life, art, and chill. So the pretty much the founder of that, my guy Archer Almighty, that's his title that he goes by. Um, he has. I don't want to put out people's government, man. Come on, bro. This made me laughing, bro. Archer. Shout out to Archer, man. He knows who I'm talking about. But so I started working with the Oklahoma Kings. It's a pro basketball team here in the city. They play in a newer league. It's called the MABA, Mid America Basketball Association. Has another school. I keep it in school, man, but has another team in Oklahoma, and then there's a few teams in Kansas. This was the third season of the league, but I started working with them, and I would just show up to practice, and so kind of got into my like journalism kind of background. I wanted to tell a story of the team. So I made like a documentary, man, with the team. So it started off with practice, leading up to kind of having to move from gym to gym, where situations may be with that. So kind of just telling the story of like it's a grind, even with trying to be a part of a team. Going into the season, show some of that, and it's on YouTube. You can go to the Oklahoma Kings YouTube page. It's called Kingsway. So that's the title of the series. That's my baby, man. I loved making Kingsway, man. But that was kind of like my first really big project. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I need to put a title to what I'm doing. So that kind of started J Rich Productions, man, and that's why at the like very first post, it just kind of talks about my bio or like my about J Rich Productions and what it really stands for. And I'm really just getting started, man. So it's been about, I'd say, maybe a year and some change. But that really kind of sparked it just by making some sports content, doing the stuff that I love, and building on it from there.
And when you were doing the documentary, I know for me, when I first started covering UCO, I had to earn the respect and trust of the people I covered. Like I'm sure it was the same. You know,
Mm,
you come in there and it's like people have preconceived notions already of the media and all that. So you're kind of fighting an uphill battle in some regards. What kind of was that process like for you of going through that and earning the guys' trust? The more you were around them, the more they got to know
it was being like at the practices, even on the days where maybe a lot of people didn't pull up to practice. It was like that. It was also like even speaking with the coaches, then going to having a conversation with the founder of the team to kind of show them, hey, this is my vision. I want to even interview you to show that like you started this. And so getting kind of like the staff behind it, career like kind of telling their story too, and then the players seeing like like they're getting content because there was nobody really there besides everyone using their phones. You know what I'm saying? So when they see somebody with a camera there and like, oh hey, I'm gonna be on this documentary, or I'm getting posts. He's sending me photos. I can get my highlight tape after the season's over. Just different things like that, like kind of being there for the team as the media director, because that's really the title that I carry now. But I had to work my way into that title. So that was kind of like, I appreciate the Archer. You gonna laugh again, with the Archer, for giving me a shot to do what I do. And it really just gave me some confidence to keep going from there.
and when you get in there, like how, because complacency I feel like is very easy. Once you kind of you get in, you get established, they know you, you know them, you're in good. I guess it's going great. I feel like at a point you can get complacent, and that's when problems arise. So for me, I think 2019, and I
Mm.
got a little too complacent, a little too cookie cutter with it. Like 2018 was like it was my old content was really raw. Like you could tell I was still learning. The editing was just awful, but I think people respected what the mission and the purpose was. I think 2019 tried to get a little too finesse, too cute with it. I think that's what. And then when I went back in 2021, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go back and to what it was before, and it's taken off since. So like, how do you kind of combat that complacency and like keep that motivation, keep that hunger to still put out quality content and do your best each and every time?
That's a good question. I think you have to just it's tough because I went through that. I went through that after dropping the first episode. I dropped another episode, and then like season one is over, and like season two still has not come out. And so it's kind of like, can I do it again? Like, are they gonna like it like they did the first time because it was something so original the first time? And this was a really big project. I'm talking about like 40 minutes is like episode one. So it's like it's where I want you to really sit down and watch it like it's a real documentary type. Um, and really, even now, say I miss a practice, I think the players are holding me accountable. Making me a part of the team in a way. Like, where was you at, man? Or you missed that, or yes, just stuff like that. So, and I think they know when you're not giving your best, and they're gonna let you know. And it makes me feel like even though I'm not lacing up my shoes and I don't got a jersey, that I'm still a part of something. And that's what the organization did for me, and that's really how I kind of bounce and get through it, and then just keep coming with something different. And I think I've made some changes from going from year one to year two because we just wrapped up the second year, and I just wanted to elevate whatever I was doing the first time. If I wasn't doing something the first year, how can I start doing that this year? And so that got me to start like live streaming with my own equipment, and I'm no BS. I'm commentating. I'm panning the camera. Like I got a team with me, but I want everyone to do what they're good at. So we have some photographers too. But I just don't. I want everyone to stay in their lane. So, and like just do what they like to do. But it just went from I wasn't doing any type of live streaming in the past to now I'm live streaming. Now I'm doing the commentary. I'm making flyers for the games. I'm making little clips and reels and different stuff like that. And so that's kind of how it really grew. Of just like when you get complacent, man, what else can you do to help elevate and make it better? And just been kind of working on that.
And you mentioned expanding like that. That's also very nerve wracking because you know what works. So it's like,
Mm.
part of you's like, okay, I should keep evolving, should keep trying things, but at the same time, like I don't want to deviate from what I know works, what my core audience enjoys. So like when you said streaming, that brought me like I remember when I first had that idea, I'm like, I don't know because my audience is this point is used to like finished product from start to finish, and like if it's live, I mean it's happening there. So like there is that fear of the unknown that I think like once you kind of get to a point and then it's just like I want to, but I'm afraid to. Mentally, that's a hurdle I feel like all content creators have to get past. How were you able to kind of get past that doubt and keep pushing the envelope for yourself?
It's and at this point, it's like I get excited about doing something new, and that's how I see it. Because for me, it's like, oh, I got a new lens or something, or I got a new mic today, or so it's like I want to just I don't really care if I fail at it. Like I want to just try it out now. But at first, it was in a way like because I wasn't live streaming, and I'm just gonna go back to that. I was just having my camera on the baseline, in the huddle during or in the huddle during timeouts and everything. But then it's like, man, what if I just prepared more? What if I had to bring my own table? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I had to bring two mics in case somebody wanted to jump on there with me? It's like I just started gathering up everything I felt like I needed. So where like if it didn't go as planned, I could have some type of backup plan, and even just kind of like just throwing stuff in every now and then type of deal, like don't just completely just go, or I'm just do something, completely different new, just kind of sprinkle it in there. And that's what I've kind of known to help me out in a way. And just networking as well, because it's not just about me. It's about, a team in a way. And that's how you can achieve a lot of different things. So it gets to a point where you just got to really bet on yourself and whatever you're doing. If you are putting something new, that even if it doesn't go exactly like you think it's planned, you can still bounce back from it, and you can still have an idea of like, this is still a part of my brand. It's not something way out there that I've never even, that doesn't really align with what I want to get done. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And you mentioned planning, like that's also a fine balance too. Like you have to have a plan, but you can't be too rigid in your plan as well. Like, okay, yeah, I might have an idea how I want this to go, but like if in the course of that it's pulling a different direction, I have to go in that direction. I can't
Mm,
force it back. You know what I mean? Like so, like
yeah.
there's a lot of on the flyness that like you almost need just an outline. You know what I mean? Like you can have the most detailed plan down to the nines, and you're getting to it, and you're just like, half of this is not going to work. And so having to
Yeah.
combat that on the fly is also a skill that I think isn't talked about enough. Like, you know what I mean? And
Mm-mm.
I feel like that might be where commentating has helped you, because your color commentating, that's on the fly a lot of the time. So learning that, I think, is definitely key to content in general. Like even if you have the most laid out plans, laid out things, you just don't know. And so that's something that I feel like everybody kind of has to learn their way around that. How do you kind of navigate having some rigidness in it, but also some flexibility to pivot when necessary?
For me, it's just trying to have everything you need. I mean, like, I don't know. I like to just, man, I'm carrying a duffel bag, bruh, of stuff that I don't even need. You know what I mean? But I just like, I want to be prepared. Like, I have a problem with that, man. And then when it doesn't go like that, man, I get to sweating sometimes, man. I'm like, and they're like, bro, he's sweating now. Like, it's not going right. Cause I mean, cause I mean, you get into a lot of technical things, and sometimes people don't even know how much things that you do need. So when they see, and I'm like, I'm kind of stressed out, they're like, okay, yeah, something not going right. He's working up a sweat or something like that now. But I just try to have at least a lot of stuff with me, some backup, just whatever is needed. But and more on the mental side of it, man, it's just you're doing it for fun at the end of the day. You can't. This ain't a life or death situation, man. Like, sometimes technology just fail you, bro. Like, and just in the terms of streaming part, sometimes the Wi-Fi just not working or whatever it is, and that's gonna kill the stream. But maybe if it doesn't work, maybe you can just record it and upload it later. Just different things like that, and that might just hurt. It might hurt in the moment, but at least the players can go back and go. They can still watch film. They can still get better. They can still make their little reels they want to make. Like, and it's just kind of like, you still got to put out something. You can't just completely just throw it all away. And that's what I try to do. Just try not to just, things don't go right. You still got to put out something. You still got to make it worthwhile. So, yeah.
Now you mentioned you carry around a duffel. Now, obviously, I don't do video, as we know. Like this is about as much video as I do. I might use OBS, pull some highlights. So when I
Yeah.
go to games, it's usually making sure I got a few pens, a notepad, my phone,
Hmm.
my old phone, two chargers. Like I make sure I have that. You have to
Right.
have a lot more. So like what all, if you want to divulge, kind of like is your standard duffel bag that you take with you when you go out there and shoot the stuff?
Okay. So mostly standard. If this won't be the duffel bag is when I'm streaming, but if I'm just getting content, if I'm just doing videos, photography, I'll have my backpack that has my laptop in it. I'll have my camera that has a couple different batteries because I'm telling you, it's a process. I used to have one battery, and it was funny because one of the players was like, when the battery went dead, he was like, "One battery, that's it." He was like, "Dang," and that killed me, bro. That killed me. And I was like, "Bro, I gotta get another battery, man. I gotta get another battery." So I have three batteries now for this camera, and this is probably like my main camera. I got three batteries for that. Have like a little mic that sometimes can people just do little quick reels with or that type of deal. I may have a mic like this in here now, um, or actually like two of these or whatever, just whatever. These have cables to them as well, so you gotta have one that can get to the camera. A lens, of course, maybe a lens or two, depending on what I'm doing. What else? What else? What else? I mean, that's kind of it. I mean, if I'm doing like UCO football content, I kind of figure like I like two different cameras, one that's better and longer range because I can't be on the field completely during each and every drill and every play. I could be on the field for some drills, but if they're going full speed, tackle, I can't be right in front of the quarterback trying to, they gonna look at me crazy, man. So I have a camera that's kind of can get some pictures from far away and can do some video too. When they're doing some drills, I have another camera like my main camera for that. And then if I'm doing that, I have two bags with me, but they're like backpacks though. So it's cameras, lenses, batteries, mics, and you're really in laptop too. If I want to like edit something after that, and that's pretty much it. What I go with.
I'd say I feel like if I don't want to say layman, but people that don't really know just assume you just get a camera and a battery, and they listen
Yeah.
to what you said. I'm sure they're like, whoa, 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 because when I got into it, like I thought, oh, I just get a snowball microphone and I'm good to go, and then you're just like, no, no, and you slowly start to the point. Now I got like a blue Yeti. I've got like several
Hmm.
adapters. I have a second screen. I have acoustic foam. It's never ending
It's
on the
not.
amount of things. It's
Right.
crazy. You're
It's
just
not,
like,
bro. I agree with you. I didn't know you needed all this stuff. It's too much, man.
like no one could have told me this. Like,
Yeah.
like you'll find out until you're too deep in it. Well, now I'm
No
invested. So
facts. You too deep, bro, and just gotta get it all. I don't, and that's a lot of stuff that I didn't like. Other people have, and like they call like rigs or whatever, so you can like have a full setup, and I don't have nothing like that right now. Like that's the what I'm building towards. So I didn't even have the stuff that like a lot of people have. So yeah, just to not confuse either, because it's a lot.
yeah. I feel like people don't like being grassroots is not the easiest because you're allocating your own funds to that, and so like it
Hmm.
takes a while for stuff to build up. So yeah, no, I feel that. And then to an earlier point, what you were saying about like about the players kind of holding you responsible, but then like knowing you have a responsibility of to them to get them content so they can do stuff with. I feel like that's maybe at the end for me. I don't know what you're saying for you. Maybe the most rewarding part is like knowing that they'll have this hopefully forever. So like when I put up the highlights and the full games, right, of the guys that have graduated. So like the Peyton Scotts, the Lane Granthams, the Stephon Browns, like
Mm,
10, 20 years from now, they could show their kids like, hey, like this was like that to me, I think like is more important than anything else, is knowing that like your work will be cherished by somebody besides yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of I don't know how to put it. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of realize it's bigger than yourself, and I think that's probably the coolest part of this job. It's like it's knowing even though in the grand scheme of things, right, we're just covering a game. There's a lot bigger, more important going on there. We're just covering the game, but just
yeah.
knowing that just covering that there's a greater impact. I think to me might be the most rewarding. what to you is the most rewarding thing about the work that you do with your media content?
Man, like something good that I like when I see it is if I took a picture and then that becomes somebody's like profile picture. I'm like, oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. You really locked in for real, cause so I like that aspect of it. And just man, I just want people to like sometimes people like when they post something or you do something for them and they may alter it in some type of way or whatever the case may be. Like I like the fact of, hey, you want to use my work or you like my work enough to promote it even further than I'm promoting it in some ways, like you trust, you have like, yeah, you have trust in like my brand, who I am. I'm reliable, source to you. That's what really makes me feel good. And even just kind of going back, man, I gotta give you your flowers, bro. Just because like, man, you really been doing this, man. Like I feel like you are a part of like the UCO football family, man. And I really feel like these players, like, they gotta talk to you, bro. Like whether they just got here, whether they've been here, or you're gonna come find them. Like, so I really appreciate you having me on, bro. Because I really want to ask you, like, why? Why did you choose me, man? Because I feel like it was like you got a whole team of football players to go through, bro. Um, and you really been doing this for a minute now. So yeah, I appreciate you for real, man.
No, I really appreciate it. I you know I always felt like from the first time I covered a game, and granted, kind of like how you had a good experience when you were color commentating. The first game was a heck of a football game. It might have been different if it was a snooze fest, but I'm looking around the press box and there's no one to my right, there's no one to my left, and I'm like, why is there nobody here? Like, this is good football. It's local talent. Like, somebody's got to be covering this. And that's when I just said, well, if it's not going to be anybody else, it might as well be me. I'm not the
Mhm.
best, but we'll give it a shot. And I think um, coming from a place of sincereness, like, I think even though that first episode is very, very, very rough, I think you can see the passion and the knowledge at that time that I had. And so I think even though, without question, my quality is not the best, but I think every time I think there's just a level of like, I'm doing this from a place of sincerity and I truly care for the players. And I think that's kind of mutual because, I try not to like rag on them because I get, like, everybody has a bad game, everybody makes mistakes, so like, let me not harp on it, you know what I mean? And I feel like when I do criticize, it's to the point where they know it's not like anything malicious. It's just at the end of the day, as much as I would like for them to win every game and win every natty, the fact of the matter is, like, we do have bad games and I still have to report on that as a reporter. Like, that's my job. And so I think, they understand it's not personal. I always say, I'm rooting for the guys. I think there's that mutual understanding, mutual respect. And so I think that goes a long way. Um, Obviously the coaches have been fantastic. Parents as well. I mean, I can't tell you like how many times after games, I'll get approached by parents thanking me. I think that's kind of like the biggest thing after Coney last year. I can't tell you. I was on the field for an hour after the game. The people just kept coming up to me like, "Oh, are you smooth? Are you smooth?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I'm so and so's mom, or I'm so and so's dad, and like, I
Yeah.
appreciate what you're doing, and I feel like that's what
Wow.
keeps you going
Yes.
because it's not, what I mean? Because it's not like, yeah, I get asked all the time. Well, you could probably be bigger if you were covering so and so or covering so and so. I could, and I have in the past, but like, it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it's something
Yeah.
to be said for, like, I don't. It's like, I'm content right now doing this for the next, like, however, so I'm gonna do this until the wheels fall off. But like I feel like there's some things that's bigger than clout, that's bigger than I don't know, like ego involved. Like there's some things that I feel like it's just enjoyment, it's happiness, and I feel like that's what this brings me. And so like as long as
That's
I can
you.
keep doing it, as long as people want to keep coming on, I'm gonna keep doing it. And to answer your question as to why I brought you on, like you mentioned, I mean, you're part of the team. Like you're providing. Like I can only provide so much, but you're there at practices, right? Like you're getting the interviews. You're providing like hype clips, right? Like I feel like we kind of have the same goal, right? Like we
Yeah.
both want to cover UCO football to the best of our abilities. So my thing is, if people are going to be seeing your work on the UCO social media pages, they should be able to put a face to that. Like really know the person that's making their content, knowing that he's passionate about it, he knows what he's doing, and that he's an alum as well. We have so many great Mass Comm alums out there,
Yes.
like James D.
Yes,
Jackson,
man.
Mass Comm alum. Right now, you think he's in Dallas for SEC Media Days for 24/7 Sports, right? We've got Gerald Leon,
Oh yeah.
grade A photographer, love Gerald to death.
Oh
You know what I mean?
man.
Like,
Oh
we've
man.
got, there's
Both of
so
them are great.
much, yeah, like there's so much Mass Comm talent in the sports world, right? Like Raven Ray right now doing a thing in Tulsa. Like, there's so much that, like,
Yes. In our class. He was in
that
my class, man.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, at that time when we're in, and I mean, like I was James's boss at one point, which is pretty cool to say, like I was James's boss.
Gotta throw that in there. I was your boss. Don't forget. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm signing him stories, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like when
That's
you're
awesome.
in there and you're grinding together and you don't really know what's next. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Mm.
know if you remember TJ Taylor Johnson. I don't know if he was in your class. I know he was in mine. We finished around the
Okay.
same time. But like him, like he went on, like he still does like production, like he does like music production, that kind of stuff like that. So like it's
Mm-hmm.
just cool to see what all we learned under the same people, like Desiree Hill,
Man.
Mike
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Hannah Nelson. Like we
Yes.
had fantastic professors
We
that
do.
like we obviously wouldn't be where we are now. And
No.
so I think like this is a good way to not only like spotlight. There's a very good mass communications program down there in Edmond too, but
There you
like
go.
to see where we've come. I mean, I get like I'm sure when you change your major, you didn't envision being where you are now all these years later. Like when I
Ain't no way.
transferred, I had no idea I still would be covering them over 5 years past my graduation date. You know what I mean? Like it's like, and I think it's important that like people know the mass comm family is deep, it's talented, and like even in news, turn on your local news. We've got Austin Brissett, right? We've got Dylan Brown. If you turn on any news channel, you're gonna see a UCO alum. And that to
Facts.
me is pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
it
so,
is.
and it's
Megan
like,
Mosley, man.
exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, while I have an audience that, for however long or short they may be supporting UCO, to know like, hey, if you're supporting me, I appreciate it. But we've got several other Broncos out there doing great things that could also use your support. And you covering them more often than I could cover them, I think is big, because when they see a clip posted to the football Twitter, that's you. Like when they see the
Yeah.
little interview clips and they hear the voice, that's you. But they might not know who you are. So I think the
Yeah.
more visibility we can shine on that, like I think of what is it, Nehemiah or Demaya? He's like a young,
Yes.
right? Like he's the next crop. Like
Man.
like that to me is crazy. The numbers that he's doing now. Like I wish I was at his level.
Yeah. He's going
He's
crazy,
like
man.
the
I'm a fan
leader
of him,
there, bro.
bro. Yeah, man. I
It's
really
just
am,
like
bro. He's doing big things for sure.
That's what I'm saying. And so like it's good to see, at least to me, it's good to see growth. Because I remember when we were there, like there was no podcasting. I remember, shout out to my man Trevor Stone. Trevor Stone and I were Nelson's guinea pigs for podcasting. He was just like,
Really?
hey, we have this podcasting class. I need you and Trevor to sign up for it. And we're just like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, because when they first made the studio, it was us. We held, what was it called? It wasn't the Cho Show. It was like the Weekly Cho, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, like we were the
Yeah.
guinea pigs. We were the first ones to like test out the streaming, test out the filming. So like being a part of that is cool. Like looking now and seeing what they do with that, like seeing like how just the Mass Comp area has grown, like the Vista area has grown. Like
Yes.
that's cool because that's not happening if there's not um us out here making them look good. You know what I mean? So like I think
You're
it's
right.
really cool. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to see the legacy that we've left behind and seeing people build upon it. Like seeing the Maya is really it's really cool because like he's supposed to be doing better than we were doing, right? It's how we were supposed to be doing
Facts.
better than those that came before us. And
That's true.
so seeing that in real time, I think is pretty cool. And we need to spotlight those guys like you, like James, like Gerald, that helped pave the
Man.
way. Like Gerald, every time we needed a photo for the
Uh,
Vista, Gerald was there. He always had a fire photo, and I'm like, this man
You're cold,
needs to
bro.
go places, bro. And then he's over there shooting the national championship, and I'm like,
Man.
that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like,
I just go and I ask him stuff, man. Like I just get advice from him, man. And I didn't even really know, like, I didn't know him when he was a student. I think he was a little bit before me. But when I started working at UCO after I graduated, that's when I really met him. And man, like I'm just in awe about what he does, man. I agree with you for real.
and like, I think that's the cool part too. Is like so we're connected even if we're not connected. You know what I mean? Like you could go talk to Gerald, and Gerald didn't really know who you are, but Gerald's going to give you every knowledge that he had. You know what I mean? Like when people come to me, I'm gonna give you everything I have. Like I felt like we pay it forward, I think, without really like, oh, you're a UCO alum or a UCO student. Yeah, let me tap into you. This is what I do. This is how I do it. You know, maybe you can do it better. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's pretty cool. Like before James got on at 24/7 Sports, right? He was like, hey, I'm doing this like small podcast, man. Do you want to be a part of it? Sure. You know what I mean? Like, like it's cool that I mean, obviously we're networking, but it's just cool like how much we look out for each other. And so like I think it's very important the way that like the Tide use football, right? The way the team, their chemistry and the way they back each other and they go out there and fight for on the field. Like it's the same thing in media. Like it's pretty cool when I look on this Gerald on the sideline, and then there might be you on the sideline, and there's me on the sideline. I'm just like, man, we're all UCO alums, and we're all still here. Like we could all be doing different things, but for whatever reason, we keep coming back to this place. And I think that, I think that's very telling, and I think that just says a lot about like the program. Like even now, I go in the press box and I'll go talk to Nelson in student radio, and he'll always ask me, "You have any advice?" Like that to me is pretty cool. Like I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like me, like like you want me? Like aren't you the doctor? You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
it's like moments like that. I think is pretty cool. And in that moment, you're like, yeah, let me help them, and hopefully in the future they can, help each other. But yeah, no, I mean that's so it's kind of a long-winded reason, but I do it because I guess you could say I fell in love that day in 2017 and haven't stopped since. So, like I said, as long as I can keep going, as long as the players and coaches are, supporting. And shout out to Chris Brennick, the oil that makes the machine go. That man does not get enough love. As long as he's giving me press passes,
Shout out.
I'm a because Brennick does so much. People don't understand. Like Brennick makes our jobs easy.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like Brennick makes our lives easier, and this man is always on the go. Like always on the go. I mean, he's bouncing from football to volleyball, basketball, baseball,
Man.
softball, soccer. I'm like, dang.
Ooh.
I'm like this poor man, but and he's so humble too. Like that's the sad part. I feel bad even bragging about him because he's so humble. And I'm just like, but
Yeah.
you are the glue here. Like, that's just, what I mean. Well, I guess my final content question for you is now that you are with UCO football, you're helping make content there. What can the fans expect to see from you, UCO football content wise, this upcoming season?
Yes, man. So you're gonna see these reels, man, like after the game, practice reels, interviews with the team, like leading up to the games. I really like, and this kind of deviates from what I learned as a student. I like edits, making a lot of these cool little edits. I think that's something that I got into after. You're gonna see a lot of that, and just me growing with my transitions, making some cool stuff that he was like, man, that was nice. I like that. That's J Rich Production. So you'll see my pizzazz on that. And then even just kind of doing like the interviews too. Um, I just posted one today for QB Jet Huff on my pages and stuff. And so I wanna just dive into who are these players outside of the football field, kind of like how you do. I mean, it's just like the more players or the more people you can reach, the more this team really gets out there and people know who, even though we're not on a D1 level or whatever the case may be, man, these are still athletes that got a lot of talent. They got a story of their own. They come from the hometown that is all backing and representing them. I feel like people should know who they are, and people should know who UCO is too. And so that's kind of like, I have that love that you just were kind of talking about, and I come from that MassCom family where it is a family. So I want to kind of show that, yo, this team is a family too, whether it be in a hype, whether it be in a interview or in a picture that captures like a highlight or like a good play during out the game, or the coaching staff. They got a story in themselves too. So I just want to get as much content, and my niche is video and photography, and in an interview. That's where I want to get into. So just expect to see some good content from me, man. That's all I can say. I don't know, man. I'm excited though. Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you say editing, I don't know why I thought about Mark Scott. I forgot that one transition. I think is it like when somebody's walking off screen and then back on screen. He dearly loves that transition, and I know I don't know if he's listening or not, but if he is, I'm gonna just say it for any mass comm that has a Mark Scott class. If you throw in that transition, he will point that out every single time. Like if you want brownie points, throw in a walk out of frame, transition into frame. Works every time. I threw so
Oh
many
yeah,
of
he
those
gonna
in
love
there.
that.
I put those in there. I'm like,
That little
say
you talking
less.
about the sequence? The
Yeah,
sequences? Oh yeah, man. He
yes,
gotta have some. That's rule number one, man. That three shot sequence. That's his bread and
yes,
butter right there. That's where it
yes.
starts, bro. That's where it started.
The sequence, yes, that's what it is. Yes, if you want to nail Mark Scott's class, get sequencing down. That's your best friend. That's your
For
best
sure.
friend.
No doubt.
That's funny. Um, well, before we get you out of here, we do it with all the new guests, kind of some more get to know you type questions. Now you mentioned you like football, you like basketball.
Yes.
Besides UCO and the Oklahoma Kings, do you have a favorite sports team?
Yes. So I like the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks for basketball. I know we made it to the finals, but man, we're not gonna talk too much about that. Kyrie, I'm still mad at you, Kai. And then the Cowboys. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan too, man. You know, they be disappointing me though, but I'm still rocking with them. College, other besides UCO, this might make people mad, but I like Texas. I like the Longhorns, man. I'm sorry, I love my horns, man. And made it to the college football playoff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm itching for us to get that natty, man. And what's next? So I like the Longhorns. I like the Mavericks, and I like the Cowboys. Those are my teams.
Well, at least you're not alone in the Longhorn fan. Like Delso is a Longhorn fan. I think JK is a Longhorn fan. Like so, at least you're
Yeah,
not
you right.
alone in that. Yeah,
Some
you're not
Texas
alone
guys.
in that regard.
Yeah.
But now the question is, now I think Saban had picked them in Georgia in the SEC title game. Do you think Texas is prepared for this SEC gauntlet now? Like
Oh
Big 12 is a
yes.
whole different animal.
Don't ask me because you know I'm gonna say yes. We prepared. I think Sark. Look, don't get me started, man. I think we prepare well, like recruiting wise. Like we're recruiting at that SEC level. We got our quarterback coming back. We lost some pieces on offense with receivers and stuff like that. But I mean, I think we still got a lot of key pieces left on the defensive side too. So I like us. I like how we looking going to SEC. I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay. And then for your Mavericks now, is Clay the missing piece? Like with Clay in the
Oh,
fold now, given present day Clay, not 5 years ago Clay, is he enough to get you all over that hump?
why you gotta ask me that, man? It's not even basketball season, bro. No, okay. Um, I don't know. I don't think. I think we need more. It's a good piece to knock down some threes, but like you said, Clay, this is not the old Clay like we all know and love. This Clay is kind of on the other side of the hill, and we love what he can bring, but it's not going to be enough for the Celtics. I know man, the Celtics, man. I'm like, dang, man, this ain't right. So I think we need we need to make another move to make me feel better. But I do think that's a good 3-point shooting piece that we can add.
Okay. Okay. And then finally, I have to I ask every Cowboys fan this question.
Oh
Is Dak Prescott the guy to lead them to a deep postseason run?
no, a deep postseason run. No, no.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you
keep it
for
a buck.
saying
I'm not finna cap, bro. I'm not gonna cap. I'm not. I've seen enough. I mean, I'm not a GM. I can't make the moves, but I've seen enough, man. We need somebody else in there, but I'm gonna still love my Cowboys though.
See, I appreciate that. Finally,
Thank you.
we have a real, realistic fan here that knows time and time again in the clutch, the man does not win you game. There's so many examples. They're gonna say, yeah, but he had that win over Tom Brady on the road.
Yeah,
But I
beat the
mean,
Bucks.
we talking like a 40-something-year-old Tom Brady. Like
Yeah, no, I
routinely,
wasn't.
this man in the clutch turns it over. Is good in the regular season. We look, and sure you could say, well, Green Bay, well, where was the defense? But
Oh,
the offense was non-existent for that first half. Like, if you're
it,
paying
it
this man,
wasn't.
that's what
Not
I'm
how
saying.
it is in the regular season.
That's what I'm saying. And like, if you're paying this man this much money, you've got to produce. And now it's like they don't have the cap. So look at what all has been lost and what all they've gained, which is not a whole lot to offset the losses. So like,
Facts.
I don't know. But now I feel like Dallas is in pretty much the territory where the Vikings were with Kirk Cousins. Because I talked to who was the Vikings fan? Is it it's not Mosley? Is it Mosley? Somebody was a Vikings fan, and I remember talking to them about that. Like they were like they're kind of glad that Kirk is gone because like you knew there was a ceiling with Kirk, but at the same time you could do a lot worse than Kirk. And like if you didn't have a surefire replacement, you were stuck with him. And I kind of feel like that's where Dallas is now. Is there better than Dak? Yes. Is there worse than Dak? Yes. But like, is there a visible upgrade? That becomes the problem. Because if not, I feel like you have to stick with him. Otherwise, you're committing to a rebuild, and I don't think they want to do that. So I'm curious to see how this plans out for him because they're supposed to want to sign him back, and that's what they want to do. Then that's I just but I mean I just as a Steelers fan, the struggles we've had since Big Ben retired and didn't have a contingency plan, like I think that scares a lot of teams because and that part of that's Pittsburgh's fault. I mean we should have better prepared for that, and we didn't. But regardless, though, I think people look at that and see what a mess that became, having to reach on Kenny Pickett, knowing that was not the answer.
I mean,
it was a clear reach. It was a clear reach. Like I don't think nobody was going to come out of that draft with a good quarterback. Like I remember,
that was a bad draft.
That was a bad draft, and someone in Malik Willis, someone in Kenny Pickett. Man. I said, give me Pickett. At least he's played in that stadium. He knows the weather. Like,
that's true.
And I mean, again, what was I surprised he was that bad? Kind of. I was more so surprised he was outplayed by Mason Rudolph that badly.
That's surprising. Yes,
like that was really bad. Like I could see you being better than Mitch Trubisky. That's not saying
much. That ain't much.
But for Mason Rudolph to thoroughly just outclass you, that's like we like no, Kenny's just not the answer. So like getting Russell Wilson for dirt cheap and getting Justin Fields for dirt cheap, that's the most upside we've had there in my time being a Steelers fan.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like we're just hoping it works out. I don't know. Hopefully Russ isn't lost. It was just Denver and Sean Payton mix. Like I don't want Russell Wilson lost, bro. Like you know how tough the AFC North is. I can't have a washed up quarterback. Like
you're on a tough one, man. Every team is solid. And even with the Steelers, like y'all are gonna fight. Y'all gonna fight for sure, regardless of who's playing QB, and that's the thing. So, man, I can't believe you're a Steelers fan. Now that's crazy.
No, it's not, bro. Because like you look on paper and you're like, all right, we have a good team. I'm feeling good about this year. By week 5, half the starters on injured reserve. Without fail. Half the starters on injured reserve.
Injuries.
We're signing guys like Miles Jack and Eric Rowe off the street. Fortunately, they come in there.
I'm about to go get Dalvin Cook, bro. I just got to.
What I'm saying. What I'm saying, like, it's so bad. So, like, we'll start off good. We get hurt. Then we go really bad. We get healthy, have to win out, get some lucky breaks, eke in a wild card, but we're clearly overmatched. And then see a playoff loss. And that's been the problem for the majority of the past 5-6 years. It's just
crazy.
I mean, and that's why Peyton Scott's a Steelers fan. I will tell you this: when they fire Matt Canada, you could probably have seen Peyton and I smiles from the Grand Canyon. Like that was truly a great day. I don't think you understand. I had to double take when I saw that. I'm like, there is no way this happened. There is no way that, and I was like, what is going on? Like that. Oh, we thought that was a difference, and it didn't end up being it. But the fact that he's gone, and the fact now we have Arthur Smith, which people are like, it's Arthur Smith, but to me it works. Right, we're run heavy. We've got Najee Harris. We've got Jalen Warren. Russell Wilson's good on play action. We've got George Pickens. We drafted Roman Wilson. We got Pat Freiermuth. Like we got the weapons. I'm not worried. Anything is better than Matt Canada.
Yeah.
We did in the second round, yeah.
Dang.
But like anything's better than Matt Canada. So
yeah.
That's kind of what we're going with on that. Okay, let's see. Okay, your favorite hobby outside of content creating.
Ooh, I'm pretty boring, man. That's all I do. But I'll say, I'll probably be, playing a game. I'm playing NCAA lately. I just came out. I'll go play basketball. Really, that's really all I man. That's all I be doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we play the game, are we the Xbox, PlayStation, or PC?
Oh, I'm PS5, P5 for sure.
See, I am too. This is like Coach Bo is an Xbox guy. Coach Curley is an Xbox guy.
Oh no. Nah.
And is it Jake?
Not this Xbox guy? Not this Xbox. We can't do that. Maybe Xbox 360 days. I for sure I get with that. But not these new Xboxes.
I see. I feel like real gamers. It went PS2, 360, PS4, PS5.
Yes. There you go.
I think that's the way to
that's
go.
Exactly what it is.
I tried the Xbox One and I was like, yeah, I should have just bought the PS5. I had to backtrack on that, bro. I was like, this is just not the answer. No, this is just not it. It just is so outclassed in every way. I'm like, why? It's sad. Xbox 360 was so good. And
it was.
And it just falls off. I mean, I still play mine religiously. Like, I don't know if you can still see it. Little white blur right there. That's the 360, bro.
No, bro. No, I'm not going to play with this dude. This man got the 360 blurred out.
I've had since 2010 that's still kicking. I don't know how.
Hey, mine's still sitting over there.
It sounds like an airplane when it turns on, but it's still kicking. Bro. I was like, because I still play Instant Late 14, and I was still kicking. And I give it its credit because I don't know how. I mean, we put long hours on that thing.
Facts.
You know what I mean? But I'm glad we got a new college football game. I heard it needs to be patched badly, but so I'm waiting until all the patches come out and then get the game.
I feel you, man. I'm loving it, man. It is probably some stuff in there, but we waited. You know what I'm saying? So
11 years. 11 long years. I never thought I'd see the day. I was truly content playing 14 for the rest of my life. Some combo of 14 or break out the PS2, play some 06. I mean, at that point I was just like, just get a bro. That to me is the gold standard. 06. Like 06 is the gold standard.
That was man. So good. That was the one that I fell in love with. That was the one. Is that the one that had Desmond Howard on it?
Yes, yes, it is.
That one.
Bro, the gold standard. The soundtrack. The gameplay was so smooth. The race to the Heisman.
Yes.
Like everything about that game is just perfect. And what's crazy is like you can get it now for like $3.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
You can get it for $3.
That's legendary. I might need to cop that just for nostalgia.
And it's backwards compatible on the 360.
What? Oh,
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
So you got to get the Xbox
on the 360. Not like unless you have a PS2 or you do the emulator. But like no, the only problem is with the backwards compatibility. There's a slight lag when you manually play the games. If you sim, it's fine. Go in and out of menus, it's fine. If you watch the game, it's fine. There's like a little bit of like a little hitch. It's not like anything where like it ruins the game, but it's kind of noticeable. But yeah, no, like if that was compatible, so like you can order an Xbox copy of 06 probably for like $5 and play it, and it's still fantastic.
That's wild, bro. That's the one that I fell in love with. That was the first one, really.
Oh, good! Like everything about that There's like, I'm sure there's some flaws. Like I think the impact players are kind of OP, but like there's not
I
too
remember
many.
that.
The running
They had
backs.
they had the white like circle under them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know
the running backs
exactly
looking
what you.
like Bo Jackson were.
Yeah, bro. Reggie Bush was
Wow.
insane on that mug. Oh my God,
Everything,
he's cutting up,
bro. I'm telling you, it was OP, but like, that game is still, and then they like modded it now. They have that NCAA 06 Next mod where they like updated all the textures and stuff. It's beautiful, and you still have people that like still put updated rosters on memory cards and sells them. Like I just bought one. Actually, not
No
too
way,
long ago.
no way.
I'm dead serious, bro.
Bro brought
I'm
a
dead. I will send you the link. There is a
This is
YouTuber
crazy.
named Playbook Gamer. This man dedicates the majority of his channel to 06. He has a website. He has detailed playbooks. He has memory cards for sale with like past rosters on it, current rosters on it. He gives you tips. Like it's super duper cool that like 06 is still alive because all of us only like 14. But
Facts.
06 is the superior game. Like
Yeah, they don't
question.
know.
Like
They don't even know.
they don't.
It was just, and that's another thing for 14. It's like, what 14 is great. 14 is great.
Mhm.
I'm saying it was just the last one that you had to kind of like hold on to it in a way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if we want to go like what's the Grail and all that, man, that 06 is crazy. I love that. I can't believe you brought that up. That's insane.
And what's crazy is like a lot of 25 is inspired by 06, like the stadium pulse, the like you getting pitches from recruits that happened in 06. Like a lot of that is almost like an updated version of 06. Like, yeah, because that's the gold standard. Like if you want to make a new college football game and make it good, take like some of the things 14 did well, which really wasn't a whole lot, but like take 06. Like 06 is like the gold standard in terms of smoothness, in terms of recruiting. Like you get a challenge on other difficulties more than Heisman. Like you don't have to change sliders. Like the AI is fantastic. Like 5-minute quarters get you a great game. Like
it does.
Oh my God.
The trophy room was nice.
Yes.
And then I remember too they kind of had like promoting the different like players and all that. It was like a magazine type of look. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The ESPN magazine.
Yes,
yeah, you could go
ESPN
in there
the
and
magazine,
see, like,
bro.
Standings.
It was great. They did it right. Yeah,
man, bro. That I'm like the amount of depth on those games, and then like I remember 07, I think is where they added like the spring game and like the preseason drills. There was so much depth back then that like they just don't know, bro. They just don't know. Like you had to grind back then. There was no buying or just cheesing. Like there was no cheese. Like maybe halfback direct. There was no cheese. Like you
was the
genuinely
only
had
one.
you had to grind, bro.
Yeah.
Understand. Or like trying to save manually because there was no auto save back then.
Bro.
You had to literally save. And it would take forever.
Listen to this, bro. I don't mean to cut you off, bro. I had it on the PS2. Yo, I had the game, but my parents, they wouldn't buy me the memory card. So I would have to keep the PS2 on for the whole seasons.
Wait.
I never turned it off.
We're talking like so over periods of full days you had it on?
Days. I never had a memory card, bro. So I would play a whole race to the Heisman with never turning the PS2 off.
No.
That's how much I love that game, bro.
You say that I laugh, but the first GameCube I had, I also did not have a memory card. And I remember I started a game. That was back when you had bedtimes because you were a kid.
Yep.
I remember I couldn't finish the game. And I'm like, I'm sure it'll be fine to get up, like the next morning before school and try to finish it. And so I kept it on. I put it a
Yep.
little bit before school. I still kept it on because you don't
Yep.
think like, oh, I should probably turn this off because it shouldn't be on for this many straight hours in a row. But like, it somehow lasted. Like
It lasted.
I don't know how. Bro, memory cards. I will say you can get a 256 megabyte one off Amazon with free shipping
Oh, dang.
for $8
That's crazy now, man.
because
I was
I got
struggling just
one
to
of
get
those.
the 8. I couldn't even get the
Bro,
8, man. My parents didn't
you
know
could
nothing
save
about that.
you could save one game on an 8, bro.
Yeah.
Like when if you had 32, you thought you were doing something. Like if you had a 32
Yeah.
gig, you were living large at that point. You could save like 4 or 5 games on there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, you
Yep.
crazy.
People don't know that, bro. People don't. They
People
don't know nothing about that, man.
They know the struggle, or like when you're playing like GTA or something, and like there was no checkpoint. So like if you failed to miss, you had to do the whole thing over again. Like you had to go to a safe house and save. Like, you know what I mean?
Like to a safe house and say that. No.
You had to go save the game, and it wasn't like it saved in 2 seconds. No, like you didn't know sometimes if the thing froze. Because
it might have froze on you and you had to do it again.
It would stay still and you didn't know if it froze.
Yep. And then it would save. Then it would save. Be like, oh, okay, it's good. It did. Okay, it's saved. Okay, I'm good.
And you'd be so happy, bro. I never forget. I was at a friend's house and it was a thunderstorm. And I was just like, we're playing Dynasty. I said, bro, we need to save this game. Like, it's lightning. We need to save the game. He was like, well, we can get one more game in. Bro, we got destroyed in that game. But, like, that was back before there was sim. So you had to play the full game. We go to save the game. Mid save, there's a power surge. And the file was corrupt.
Oh.
Bro. They don't know the struggle of that.
No.
The corrupted files is the worst. You put so much effort into that, and it's like you were so deflated. Right? You don't even want to play the game,
bro.
Oh
no, bro. My 360 still works to this day. It's gotten the red ring of death. It's gotten that red ring of death, bro, and it still works.
Shit, my guy did too, and like what I normally do if it happens, I'll just quickly unplug it and I plug it back in and it's perfectly fine. But yeah, no, that happened to me like 10 times. I'm like, listen, do not quit on me now. Like, please don't quit on me now. But it usually only happens though, like if there's like a power surge or a power bump, like it'll just start doing it. And so I go and unplug it, wait a seconds, plug it back in, and it's perfectly fine. Like I haven't had any problems. But yeah, right. They do not know the memory card struggle, bro. That they don't know. They don't know anything about that, bro. That was man, those were the days, bro. Okay, well, we know your PlayStation now. That's good. Let's see your favorite musical artist.
Ooh, man, it was J. Cole, but J. Cole let me down, man. He let me down. Same with Drake. It was Drake. It was J. Cole. I like Kendrick too. Like those are all three of mine, but it was really J. Cole. Then it was Drake. Then it's Kendrick. But Kendrick then took it over, bro. Kendrick didn't shut everything down. They not like us for real, bro. They not like us.
J. Cole and Drake just dropped the ball.
I tried to stay. My light skinned family, man. I had the light skinned brothers. We tried to stay together, but man, it's crazy out here.
That's tough. That's tough. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Your favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm a simple spaghetti. Spaghetti, man. Or Mexican food. Those are my two.
Okay. Now, according to JK, he makes some mean spaghetti. So maybe
Mm.
hit him up. He claims it's good. I asked him, can anybody verify? He said no because he hasn't divulged that. And I'm like,
Oh,
I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like, bro, if it's that good, I feel like you kind of want to flex that. I don't know. Like similar to how like Mosley claims he's the best Madden player on the team, but nobody can corroborate that statement. So like I don't know. I mean, I asked everybody, and they're like, we can't collaborate. Like he claims he's got a specific playbook with the specific team that wins every time, but which
the
is obviously not
playbook?
going to. Yeah, he says he
Man,
has a
you better
specific
get online,
playbook
man. We got to run that. No,
and a specific team. Because I think he did stream 25 the other day and got cooked. So
Hold on, bro. Came with the scouting report. He said I did see him get cooked. He did in fact get cooked. Wow.
I'm pretty sure,
I
bro.
seen the reel. I didn't see the stream. I missed the stream. I did see him post a reel though. But that is funny. That is
pretty sure he
hilarious.
got cooked, bro. I'm pretty sure.
Boy, don't stream again, boy.
If I got cooked, bro. Oh, and it's unfortunate too because he has a namesake to uphold here. You know, like when you have our first name, there's a standard you got to live up to, and that's just not it.
That's fact. Dang, he is. Yeah, he got Jonathan too.
Yeah,
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Like,
It's a standard.
He's over there slipping, eating chips during the kickoff. Like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah,
like,
he definitely.
I need to wipe my hand. I have Dorito. What are you doing?
I did see that.
Like,
you gotta be locked in, man. You gotta be ready. Kickoff. You gotta be ready, bro. Can't be having chip dust on you on the gaming controller, man.
Like, how are you gonna just this? In one moment you're like, he's carrying the name well, and then you see that, and it's just like, Mosley, come on, man, you gotta uphold the game, my guy. Like, you dragging us down, man. Like, like it's just,
oh my god,
dang. Okay, now you said you like Mexican. Now, are you more of a soft shell taco guy or a hard shell?
Soft. Yeah, the corn tortillas, man. The corn tortillas. You know what I'm saying? The street tacos, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Trying to think. Usually I ask if there's any pregame routine. So I'll ask you, you have any pre-shoot routines that you normally do?
What?
Like, I don't know. I mean, you might have a certain thing you do.
Yes. Make sure them batteries are charged. Make sure the battery's charged. Make sure you have an SD card that has some memory on it. You know? Because, this be the worst when it be like, change battery and you ain't got no, you don't have anything else. So, I would just say, like, I got to make sure. And that actually takes hours because each battery is like, maybe takes 3 hours to charge. So if you're charging 3, you may need to do that the night before. Make sure you get all 3 charged and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
You remember, I hope I say his name right. You remember, I think it's Jorge Gill. I know if you remember him during our time at UCO. He was tall. Okay, well, we had this running joke because he forgot his SD card one time. And so there's this running joke every time we see each other or I message him happy birthday. I'm like, don't forget that SD card. And it's funny because he ends up working for like Telemundo for a period of time.
Wow.
So I was just like, see, now you have to have that SD card.
Yeah, bro. That's a sad day. Sad day if you ain't got that SD card. You ain't shooting nothing.
Bro, Or you had to like go to the bookstore and buy it, but it's like overpriced, and then
Oh man, they
you're
tax them.
mad because you have it at home, but you need it now. That's that MSD card. that's
Yeah,
that's tough.
I've come a
That's tough.
long way, man. Because I'll say this real quick, but it was like I thought the SD card didn't work. Like that's how much I didn't know. Like I know sometimes you have to like switch it, like change the
Mm-hmm.
unlock it. I was like, yo, this isn't working. Like you can have it if you want it, like I can't even use it. And kindly enough, it was Brady, man. Brady, classmate, he was like, no, like I'm not gonna take your SD card. This is how you actually use it. Like, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's how far I've come from. Not even know how to use a SD card.
I mean, true. I mean, because like you said, you don't have experience. You think, oh, I just pop this in, and
Yeah,
it should work. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to
right.
format it. I know you had
Yeah,
to. I thought you just popped it in and you're good to go. Like you gotta format that whole thing. Like that's a yeah. There's way more that goes into it that like I didn't know at the time. I just again you think it's so easy. You just I'm gonna turn on this camera and throw in this SD card but you don't know
hmm
about lighting and angles and all
facts.
that stuff. You know what I mean? It's
I
like
don't know
oh,
nothing about that.
there's a whole lot to this. That like yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Well, I appreciate you, sir, for taking time to come on this evening and talk to
Thank you.
us. Um, I'm glad. Like I said when I first saw the news, you be working with UCO football. I said that's pretty full circle. Man went from calling the game as a student radio broadcaster to now covering them, making content. Like that's a pretty cool small world type of thing. So
Yes.
anything I can do to help, resources, whatever it might be, I'm always here to help. Anytime you want to come back on, you're more than welcome to. But I'm really excited to see what you cook up content wise for this upcoming season because I know it's going to be good. So
Oh
I'm really
dang,
wishing
bro.
you
That's love.
the best on that front.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for having me, man. Yeah. I'll definitely be linking up with you, bro. Cause yeah, I'm part of the family even more now. And I mean, I'm ready to get it going, bro. So thank you for having me for real. I want to definitely be back on. It's eventually sometime. I know you got to get through a lot of people, but yeah, this was fun, bro. Had some good laughs. So thank you again.
Oh yeah, no that we did. I just yeah that we did. But yeah, no, you're more than welcome to come back on at any time. We'd love to have you. Ideally, I would like to at some point. I don't know how feasible this is because Gerald over there in high places and James in high places. It might be too big time for us. But like ideally, get us all on one episode, reminisce. How far
Yes.
we've come because like it's. I didn't realize it truly until we started talking. Like really where we were to where we are now. And so like we get more of us in there. Like I just because Gerald's a character like in himself
Right.
and
Funny.
James tries to play the straight man that just doesn't no like we like he tries to play this straight man like James come on now come on James come on
Oh dang. Bro. He be saying he gotta be serious, man.
yeah,
Seriousness.
yeah,
But you gotta catch him. You gotta catch him.
yeah. He did tell me he'd be down to come on after SEC media days because he
That's what's
big
up.
time like that. We got to go
That's
on
big
his
time.
timeline. You know how it is. But I guess I'm lucky. He's going to grace me with his presence. So I
Right, at
figured
this
that's the
point.
least he could do. I just,
Yeah.
like I'm saying how I was his boss at one point. Like but no, like we would love James, but yeah, no. So ideally, I would like to try to get all of us on an episode together. I think that would just be pretty cool. 2 hours is going to be tough because we're all busy, so we have to. I know we'll have to get a group chat on somewhere, get that started. But no, I would ideally love to have that because I think that would just be really cool in general. Like get their perspectives on things too, how you should help them. So yeah, no, I think for sure that will have to happen. Um, we'll get conversations going on that, because I know here pretty soon, once fall camp comes, like you'll be busy, I'll be busy, Gerald will be busy, James will be busy. So like, we've got a small window to try to get this in. So yeah, no, we'll try to get that. I think that'd be good. But yeah, no, like I said, I appreciate what you're doing, and like I said, hopefully we can bring you back on here soon with that episode.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you, sir.